community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Never went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal.
The Drive in Atlanta is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore, Berkshire Hathaway Services, Rise Real Estate, and Adams. We know great homes. Eagle Masonry and Insulation will save you money. Jacob Title, the place to call for all your closing needs. And by Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we show up. The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. Weekday morning starting at 9 a.m. on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to The Blitz.
We ain't in Kansas anymore. Welcome back into The Blitz. John Abraham, Joe Hunk, here live in Huntsville, Alabama for The Blitz on a Friday in no man's land. Good to be back home, Joe. Just wish the morning was a little bit smoother as we came in.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought that it was just going to be a relaxing morning.
Yeah.
We're coming in.
Yeah.
You know, we were sitting and talking about the show last night. Today, somehow my voice is gone.
Yeah, you walked in and I was just like, what? Were you yelling at the TV screen or something?
I have no idea about what's happening.
I know why you would be yelling, because the stream throughout our social media days was a little wonky. That's what happens whenever you switch a streaming service every single year. It'll be figured out. It'll be fine. You guys watching us right now, hopefully the audio is perfectly fine for you guys. But that's just for the people watching on WZZN TV, on YouTube, on Facebook, on X, all of that good stuff. But you guys can also listen to us on our apps and online at 977ESPN.com. And again, you can find our free apps over on the Apple and Android devices. As always, the show is brought to you by the wonderful people at Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com. Joe, it was a very fun week from Atlanta. I would say this, though, it was a little bit more busy than fun. All right. It was 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night every single day, all the way up until Thursday, whenever we had to drive back home, and everybody slowly but surely was making their way out of Atlanta. And it sucks for the Arkansas guys, though, because, Arkansas was second to last, and they had a 10-hour drive back home. So
I'm pretty sure they didn't drive. Yeah, I'm going to say they didn't drive.
Yeah, well, you know what?
No.
If they were 97.7, we would be driving, because you love the road trip. It's all about the destination.
Their budget is a little bit higher than ours. I don't know if you know, but down at SEC, the meetings that happened in Destin, I'm pretty sure they got like a check for like $60 million or so. I think that they could probably afford that flight from Fayetteville to Atlanta.
Yeah.
I mean, if we would have got the check for $60 million, I'm sure we could afford the flight from Huntsville to Atlanta. It would have taken like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's that we have reached our traveling and we're down. Like, it's one of those. Like, that's just how quick the trip is from Atlanta to Huntsville and vice versa.
I got
Why is my voice sounding like this?
I don't know, man. Did you catch something? The kids
I've got like, you're seasonal, you're outside a lot. I mean, it's 100-something degrees. It hasn't rained in a few days. Like, you got that, coughing up a lung while you're in the shower because it's hot. Like, I mean, I've got that stuff, But I mean, that's it.
Yeah, it should be gone after like a day or two. But I mean, this is the first day that I'm hearing your voice sound like this. So Joe, get some rest, brother.
Okay, cool. I'll see you on Monday. We'll be out at Toyota Field.
Thanks.
That is going to be part of that. So, we're good to go.
Yeah, it's not like we're done with the media days either. Of course, every single year after, the seasonal sickness and then after the SEC media days, wherever they put us, then it's time for high school media days where we get to see all of our favorite coaches from the Tennessee Valley come into one place and talk about their football teams in a little bit more depth.
Okay.
Now, we've done a great job, Joe, I feel like, getting coaches on, representing some of them, and on top of that, getting them out to the community because there's been a lot of new coaches that have come into the area, and it's just going to be great to actually see these guys in person and really get to know them as we go into this new football season.
All right, good. Now help me out with this because this is going to be my very first one that we're doing on Monday. I came into and I moved back to 97.7 at the very beginning of September. Like it was after Labor Day. So I was, that was when my very first time back on the station was as far as full time. What happens during this? Like how is this broken down into mornings, afternoons? How does this roll as far as like shows are concerned? I'm curious about all of this.
Yeah, so we get 16 to 17 plus teams inside of this building, not this building, but we'll have a building. And it'll go from the morning session and then the noon session. So there'll be 3 shows that'll be represented. There'll be Talkin' Ball. There's going to be our show. There's going to be Tom Abraham's show. And then it's all wrapped up at 2 o'clock. So we go through 16 teams, 16 plus interviews. I think we might have 17 or 18 teams this year. 17 different interviews with all these different teams. Then we get the media to come through, get pictures of these players. There are 2 sessions, though. Okay. So we split it up into 2. So if there's 18 teams, we're going to split it up into 9 and 9. Exactly, Joe.
Okay.
So that's how we do it. And we get it all done in a half a day. It's like, why does SEC Media Days have to last an eternity when we could do it in 2 seconds? You know what I'm saying?
Coverage is one thing.
Again, that's right.
Look, here's the deal is with this. And for people that ever, this is always strategic. Like I can only remember maybe 1 or 2 years where SEC Media Days has not fallen on the dead week in sports.
Mm-hmm.
Like there truly is. And that's all by design. So if you have the ability to fill up 4 days with everything that you do, because they really do go through their first version of a car wash, because coming up in a couple of weeks, they'll all head up to ESPN and they'll go through another car wash. But they're doing the whole car wash thing. They're doing all of Radio Row and digital media, and they're going and doing fun videos with the SEC network and all this stuff that they can use later on in the football season. Like all of that is all done there at the College Football Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. So it's not just like us, like, honestly, we should do the fun videos. Is this bad to think about this 3 days beforehand?
No, I think this is, we were still thinking about ideas at SEC Media Days to do for this year.
We should seriously have like a section where we have like fun, dumb questions, kind of like what we do on a normal basis. Just fun, dumb questions that we could get each player mic'd up and ask those in front of them.
Yeah, we have a banner that we're actually going to bring out there. Me and Steve were actually throwing around some ideas. So I think that's a great idea, Joe. I love how our station, a lot of the creatives, the ideas kind of just meld from one brain to another. And then now that you're right next to me, you're kind of getting that runoff from my brain liquid.
I've been separated from you for about 4 days.
Yeah.
So it's a little strange.
Hey, but our show has been flawless, Joe. Except for the audio on the stream.
Flawless is very loose term.
Yeah. No, I will say there was 2 days.
Loose.
There were 2 days I was feeling a little
John walked in today still looking for Randall Cobb. It was crazy. He was like, is he over there Duncan?
No,
is he at Costco?
No. I was looking for
where's Randall at?
Look, I was looking for a croissant, egg and cheese, sausage, egg and cheese over at Duncan. All right. I wasn't looking for Randall Cobb. You know what they didn't have, Joe? They didn't have bacon. What?
I've got some bacon over
They didn't have eggs.
They didn't have eggs.
What? In the morning on a Friday? So you know what I asked for? I'm just like, okay, fine. Give me a biscuit, sausage and cheese, and make it snappy, all right? I drive around. They also say that it's going to be like $5. I'm like, no, it's not going to be $5. I tell them that how is this possible? This is blasphemy. All right. They give me my sausage and cheese biscuit. I open the thing up, Joe. There ain't no cheese on this sausage biscuit.
That's my kind of biscuit right there.
Thing's drier than Desert Valley.
That is my kind of biscuit.
Come on, dude.
That is it, man. That's my kind of biscuit.
Like after such a long week where I just want to lay on the ground and just kind of meditate.
Yeah.
I get back and I want a nice little croissant, egg and cheese because I've got no food at the house. I got to go grocery shopping.
You've been gone for a week.
I get totally spoofed by the Dunkin', and it hurts. It really hurts. You know, it's almost like they don't know who I am. You know what?
They know me.
If it was a guy like David Cohn from Cain and Company, they would know exactly who it was. He's one of the great guests we'll have on today, as well as Drew DeArmond. In the next segment, of course, it is a Friday. We get him on. We represent a little bit of what we got going on, as well as the recruiting and his final thoughts from SEC Media Days. Same will go for David Cohn. It will be fun, though, because this will be a first-time guest on the show, Joe.
It is.
It could be something we keep doing throughout the football season.
And I'm looking over because the dead period for all of sports ends today as well, because the quote-unquote second half of the baseball season starts. There's only 65 games left in the season. Only 65 games left.
Is that enough for the Braves to make a comeback?
They got to win like 60 of them. That'd be kind of cool. I don't. Snick's still the head coach, right? Like he didn't do like an early retirement into the front office.
No, they didn't do something like the Browns did, where they just didn't announce their new helmet that they said they were going to announce on Wednesday.
It's because it's a different shade of that orange.
Okay,
it's not so much it's just that little bit of a difference between like pressure and Vanilla Ice is Ice Baby. It's just a little bit of a difference.
Gotcha. So it's like those NFL pictures that they post on the NFL social media page where it's just the same picture next to each other.
Yes.
And it says spot the difference.
Exactly.
And you almost can't do it.
You have the girl from The Office. It's like, this is the same picture. It's the exact same. That's kind of what this is. That's kind of probably the reason for it. Also, outside of two people in this city, I don't think anybody else cares about the Browns dropping a new helmet.
I think everybody cares about not just the Browns, but football teams in general in the NFL dropping new uniforms this week. It's when they do it. So I like to keep them on the toes.
They do it because it's the dead week.
And I like to keep them on their toes.
This is why it was so strategic for them to do it, because a lot of things happened over the course of the last 4 or 5 days, but we didn't focus on them because, I tried really hard not to focus on them because it was SEC Media Days. So because we were focused on everything that was happening in that building for the last 4 days.
Yeah.
Again, I know there's like the Open Championship happening right now. I could care less.
Well, I do want to drop the lead on that later throughout the day, see how that's going. And I also
you need to do it now just because thing isn't going to change here in about 2 hours.
Let me see what we got. I didn't have it open because we were too busy to set up the stream from not doing this stream in studio. Right now, we got B. Harmon. I don't know. Brian Harmon is sitting in first right now. He is a total of 8 under. Behind him is T. Lee from China. He is 7 under.
I like that you're just giving the first initial.
And then behind him, Matthew Jordan, not Michael Jordan. Don't get it twisted, all right? And not Jordan Hare. Jordan.
It's Jordan Hare.
He's sitting at 5 under right now. And he is also tied with Matt Fitzpatrick and Ryan Hogard. I believe that is it. Matt. Yeah, I got him right. Don't worry about it. That is your British Open breakdown from me, John Abraham, a guy who does not do much of golf. So
no, I'm not a golf guy. I mean, again, I will play it all day long.
I can call John. We can start getting him.
I don't dislike it enough that I'm not going to put it on in the studio.
Oh, it's pleasant to have in the background.
At least I will absolutely be doing that.
Of course. You guys can also join in on the show if you do care about the British Open, or if you do want to talk a little bit of SEC football, or maybe you want to go and talk a little bit of Big Ten football because you want to throw off the show. You can do just that. 256-576-97.7. We'll get into phone calls and Drew DeArmond when we get back here on the Blitz on 97.7, ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WZZN TV.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham. You can watch the Blitz live now on X. next at 97.7 ESPN.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist in a Jackson County who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
There's a lot of talk these days about who's the biggest. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. Bigger doesn't equal better.
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. We know we're not the biggest. We don't want to be.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're big enough to handle your case and get you the help you need.
But small enough to welcome you. Where you're never just a number. You're part of our family.
The Lackey Law Firm, 1-800-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Sure, Valley Equipment Rental takes care of the homeowner and his needs, but how about the pros out there? Well, Valley Equipment has the big stuff as well. The equipment you need to get any job done. I'm talking about the big track hoe excavators from the 30,000-pound midsize to the big boy 50,000-pound units. Need a dozer on the job? Well, they've got them up to 105 horsepower, and that's a good-sized machine. Plus, Valley Equipment has more lifts than anyone around. Up to 80-foot booms that reach 56 feet with a 10,000-pound capacity. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Check them out today.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well to try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials for you to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
Your Fox 54 weather, brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the lower 90s. Heat indices aren't going to be as big of a problem today. They have been over the last couple of days. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast. We drop into the mid-70s as we head into the overnight. Much the same for your Saturday. A partly sunny sky. Temperatures climbing into the lower 90s with some scattered showers and thunderstorms.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Atlanta Braves.
Swung on and crushed. Deep left field. Kepler going back. Here comes some late night dynamite here at Truist Park. A walk-off home run by Marcelo Zuna.
All season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is fitting.
You and me, we're going out, catch some sounds, guaranteed to blow your mind.
The Rubber Band Man. He's walking around somewhere throughout a college football program near you. You know, this actually isn't about that Rubber Band Man. Just letting you know, it's about a different Rubber Band Man, but this is about the Rubber Band Man. Welcome in the Blitz, Joe Hunk, John Abraham, ESPN Winchester, 97.7 ESPN The Zone, WZZN TV. Always brought to you by Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys that you definitely need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. And if you have any roofing problems, just look them up online and get that free quote today. And remember that Fleming always shows up.
Just like Drew DeArmond on Fridays. Just like
straight flowing.
Drew DeArmond on Fridays. I know he's probably pretty exhausted from the week, but you know what? He is always going to want to talk some sports, and he joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Drew, how are you feeling after that long week, bro?
Yeah, it's an exhausting week. You guys know you've been through several of them. It's the most fun week of the year for me, but it's the most exhausting. These days are long, and at least I have air conditioning in my condo.
That is true, Drew. He was out in the I would say the shack behind the Verbo.
Well, I call it a cottage, not a shack.
Okay, all right.
Drew,
that sounds a little bit better.
Drew, you probably had the best setup, man. I would have been so jealous of this
I know.
setup. Like, I didn't even get to see any of it, but I'm telling you, like, to be in a whole building by myself, this would have been a dream.
And Joe, I'll tell you, it was great because I had my own refrigerator, I had my own stove, I had my own microwave. It was kind of being back in Hoover when I would stay with my cousins in Mountain Brook, except it's a little smaller. But I had absolutely everything I needed. Ceiling fan, everything. It's just when I showed up for the last night, it was 82 degrees.
Yeah. See, this is the thing, is if I would have made the trip with you guys, I would have probably fought you for this. I'd be like, no, I want this thing. No. Like, I love people, but I also love my alone time.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm going to fight you for this.
You would have loved it until the AC went out, because that was the one thing that, the Lord giveth and he taketh away. And the AC was that one thing he took away. But, Drew, I want to know what you took away from the long week. Of course, there was a lot of big stories. Nothing too crazy. I feel like, for the most part, Nick Saban returning back to coaching, which is not going to happen. I'm just going to throw that out there. Was the biggest storyline, but there was a lot that also happened. It was kind of brushed under the rug. But what were some things that stuck with you while you left Atlanta and got back to Huntsville?
Well, I mean, I love Elijah Drinkwitz, and I've always liked him. But every year I get a chance to be around him a little bit, I like him even more.
Yeah. And
if you look at Mizzou's schedule, it's really conducive for them having a great year. And I'll just say this, if I'm just going to throw it out an example, because as quickly as, Billy Napier turned it around at Florida, it could turn again.
Mm-hmm.
And if it does, I said this last year to some Gator friends of mine, I'm going to say it again. Everybody fixates on Lane Kiffin and wanting him and things of that nature. But if I were Florida, I would go after Elijah Drinkwitz. I'm just saying. I think because Mizzou is a hard job, and he's the best coach they've had since Gary Pinkel, who had over a decade there. And as you guys remember, he got to 2 SEC championship games. People kind of forget that.
Yep.
They didn't win either one of them. They got whacked, but still, he got to back-to-back SEC championship games, and he did an outstanding job there, at Missouri, and I think if Drinkwitz has been the right fit for them. I mean, I think they're going to have a good football team. They got a lot of holes to fill, but I think under the radar, he's done a really nice job. I asked him about his safety, Jalen Catalon, who 4 or 5 years ago was one of the top young safeties in the country at Arkansas, but he made a decision to transfer, also got injured. That's been his whole deal. He gets hurt and not able to stay healthy. If he stays healthy for Mizzou, I think he's going to be really good. And then, we kind of continued our conversation about Hugh Freeze. Hugh's gone all in, saying that he thinks Auburn could be a 10-win team. I think they're going to be one of the more improved teams in the league. I don't see them as a playoff team, but if Auburn does not, step up, and if they don't get to at least 7 wins, Hugh Freeze, his seat could be scorching, and especially if they're 6-6 or worse, he may not see year 4 at Auburn. And then Sam Pittman, I hate to, quote, go back to the movie Dead Man Walking. I like Sam, but it just seems like that it's inevitable. They have a very difficult schedule. There was a lot of talk yesterday about the NIL funding, and they lost 5, 6, 7 starters to other teams. So I just don't. I don't think we'll probably see Sam Pittman in Fayetteville next year. But the interesting thing is, John Neighbors of Inside Arkansas, I asked him about this. I said, okay, if Pittman does not return, what about Hunter Yurachek? Because he said, I don't think Hunter Yurachek will be back. I think he'll be in a lot of trouble. And that's even with, the acquiring of John Calipari. He said that was all about John Tyson. And so that wasn't the athletic director. So I thought that was interesting. And then Alabama-wise, I think just being confident in where they are. I think Kalen DeBoer seemed like he was very, very, resolute, and I think I think the players were too. No bulletin board material. They understand they didn't finish this year and they lost too many close football games. But I just thought a quiet confidence emulating from Alabama at media days.
You were at the beginning of that. You talked about Eli and the possibility that if everything went sideways in Florida, that you would go after him. Look, I would love for him to be at Auburn, but he's a smart man and he's not going to go to the cesspool if Hugh Freeze ever leaves. So I ask, if you're Eli Drinkowitz and you are in this situation, say you do get to 10 wins again, you're 3 straight seasons in a row of 10 wins, you're at Missouri, we know you can develop talent. We've seen it for 3 straight years. What kind of programs would you be looking at as far as the possibility? Because honestly, there are very few coaches in the NCAA right now that are like Drink in being able to develop the talent that he's been able to do.
Yeah, I mean, and you bring up an interesting point on Auburn. I mean, we were able to talk to some folks associated with the Kentucky program, Nick Rouse of Kentucky Sports Radio, and we know Stoops is entering year 13 and is the winningest coach in Kentucky history, but he's also, guys coming off of a 4-8 record. And we asked him about John Summerall, who we're all very good friends with, who's the head coach at Tulane. And he said there's already chants coming from the Kentucky fans about we want Summerall. And it ties back into your point about Auburn, Joe, is the Kentucky fans are terrified that Hugh Freeze won't win enough games and Auburn will hire John Summerall. And because he's from Huntsville, Alabama, from Grissom High School. And they're like, please, Hugh Freeze, win 7 or 8 games because we want John Summerall as the next coach of Kentucky. But see, if I were the Florida Gators, he would be in my top 2 with Elijah Drinkwitz as far as young coaches.
Yep.
And you're right about Drink. He has ties to Gus Malzahn. He's been at Auburn as a younger coach, on the staff. That would be interesting if Auburn tried, and if Mizzou had a really good 8, 9, 10-win year this year, I think he would be near the top of the Auburn wish list. It would be interesting to see if he would, pursue it. But as you said, there's some cooks in the kitchen at Auburn. It's a little bit of a unique situation. Now, they do have better resources than Missouri. There's no question about it. And as far as fan base, but, Drink also brought up a good point during his, time in the media room yesterday, which, that's the things you learn during the week. They're just completing a $250 million stadium end zone project.
Yep.
They updating their facilities, and they built an indoor facility. And we all know, look, we have the revenue share now, but that's just a first step in a process. The state of Missouri has a very aggressive NIL, state law where they can go and get players. So especially within their own state.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be very interesting to see how that all plays out. And someone asked me this during the week, Joe. They said, okay, if you freeze, it doesn't make it to year 4, who does Auburn hire? And quite frankly, if you go back and look at Auburn's history, especially since Coach Dye, had to resign, and and then Terry Bowden didn't have a lot of ties to Auburn at all, but we all know his father had ties to the state of Alabama. But usually, when Auburn hires a coach, the Gene Chiswick's of the world, the Gus Malzahn, they all have some sort of tie to the school, or they beat Alabama like Hugh Freeze did. It's very interesting to think about who would they hire. I mean, there isn't a guy that sticks out. And to me, you need to hire someone that's a standing head coach. John Summerall, with his ties to the state, would be very, very interesting. And he's pursued the Mississippi State job. He's also, he was in the mix for North Carolina. So that would be an interesting one, no question about it. You'd have to get someone that thought they could compete and beat Alabama, because that's the key. And that's what Hugh's got to do this year. He's got to either beat Alabama or Georgia, or he's going to start feeling the heat, because that's just the way they're wired at Auburn. You've got to win and make it a rivalry. Gus Malzahn won 3 times. So it's just going to be very, very interesting. And you got John Cohen as athletic director, and it's you have to go back and kind of peel back the onion and see who he has ties to, where maybe what direction he might go. But it's just really, really kind of intriguing because I think there's not a guy you just circle right away like, okay, that's going to be the next Auburn coach. But there's some good young coaches out there, and I would think Summerall and Drink would be on their list as well. But again, it's all about it. And would they be able to trust the situation at Auburn? I do think in this case, though, John Cohen has, some panache as athletic director. So we'll see. But Hugh Freeze needs to win, and I think he's going to. I think you'll see year 4 at Auburn.
Well, if it does get to that situation and they are deciding it's either going to be a guy that the boosters can control, or if it is somebody that they actually, like, say, Drink, where Drink would probably come in the interview and he would say, I'm not doing this garbage. You guys either let me do this or not. Because, again, look at the stuff he set up on the stage. Like, he's like, I don't care if you don't like me. So either you can hire me and I can win 10-plus games here, or I'll go somewhere else and win 10-plus games. So, that's the way I look at it with him, is he's going to be straight up with you because he has nothing to lose. I mean, look at what he's built at Missouri and look at how much they're investing in Missouri.
Yeah. I mean, and as you know, it's even harder now to hire coaches because of the salaries they make. It's not just all about the money. I mean, everybody is getting paid very, very well. So it's more about fit and having alignment. And Auburn has had, they've been trying to, get the school president stabilized, and now they have John Cohen, an athletic director. I will say, Butch Thompson is doing remarkable things with baseball, and Bruce Pearl has done remarkable things with men's basketball. So at least those two sports are very healthy for Auburn. So that may attract a really good coach. But as you said, football drives the bus. And they have talked to Kirby Smart in the past, and Kirby did not take the job because of what you said, Joe, and that's control. So that's going to be a really interesting dynamic because you have to have everybody in a line. And of course, if Auburn is in the market for a new coach next year, that means A, they lost to Alabama again, and B, we all know in this climate of NIL and the transfer portal, guess what? If you do make a coaching change, you're probably going to have 70 new players.
Absolutely.
Because people are going to go, and you're recruiting the first year high school wise is probably not going to be, spectacular because you're going to have to be scrambling and you're going to have to go portal heavy. So it's going to be really interesting regardless. But I do think you will silence some people. I think they'll beat Baylor. I think they'll win 8 games. If they do, I think everything will be fine. And I think he'll probably find a way to split Alabama and Georgia because they've got to win at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And I think he'll get to year 4. We'll see what happens after that. But I think Alabama's going to be a college football playoff team too. And I mean, I know this is going to sound crazy because they've lost 11 out of 12. I think Auburn has a better chance against Georgia than they do against Alabama. Yeah. But I think they'll have a shot to beat both of them since it's being played on the plane.
Drew DeArmond from Talkin Ball is our guest. He's been helping out with SEC Media Days all week long and now gets a little bit of rest. You guys had a really good show prior to ours. And I want to look at the schedules. And a lot of people love to look at, who's got the toughest schedule. And right now, I mean, not the Gators. And of course, it's a gauntlet. But again, a majority of these schedules are in the SEC, but they're not all created equal. What is a schedule that you're looking at that could, maybe show a little bit of an easier path for a team and maybe give them a chance at the playoffs, even though there might not be a playoff team, quote unquote?
Well, I mean, like I said, Mizzou, just look at Missouri, man. They avoid just about a lot of the heavyweights. There's no question about it. I also think even though they play a lot of really good teams, Georgia gets everybody at home. Okay, and Kirby hasn't lost at home since Will Muschamp was the coach at South Carolina. So it's really tough to play in Athens, but they get Ole Miss, Alabama, and Texas there, and then Mizzou. Their schedule I think lines up really, really nicely for them to make kind of a Cinderella run, no question about it. And so as far as favorable schedules, even though Georgia's strength of schedule will be tremendous because of who they play.
Mm-hmm.
I think, getting everybody at home, Georgia, if they're 11-1 per se and go into Atlanta, then they could be the number one overall seed even with a loss because they play so many good teams. But like I said, Missouri's schedule is one of the weaker ones. And to be honest with you, Texas's schedule, is not the most difficult either. And so I have them picked to win the SEC. I've got them playing Alabama in Atlanta, and I went with Bama and Texas as my top two. But right now, with Arch Manning and how good I think he can be, and by the way, being around him too, I should have mentioned that. It's my first chance to be around Arch. Man, it's like he's 30. I mean, dude, just you can tell he's been through it. He's been around it. He's 6'4", 6'5", very impressive physically. But, like his grandfather, Archie, a great athlete. He's different than Peyton and Eli. And we saw it a little bit last year, but I'm going to be anxious to see it for an entire season with him being QB1. And so, but, yeah, I think Texas, Georgia, even though Georgia's is difficult, but they get the games at home. And then Missouri, I think they've got some favorable schedules there.
Yeah, I can tell you were a kind of a fan of Arch Manning. I got a few pictures from above whenever the whole crowd was around him, and all of the pictures you had a smile on your face. So it was definitely something interesting to see, nonetheless. But Drew, appreciate you as always, man. We're gonna let you get a little bit of a rest because, of course, the whole week's taxing, although fun, very taxing. But great stuff from you as always, man.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks,
Rudy DeArmond from Talkin' Ball. You guys can listen to him at 7 to 9 weekdays. Look forward to him coming back next week. Of course, today had a little bit of a day off, but you still heard from him.
Friday.
I mean, you still heard from the guy.
It's Friday.
Either way, 256-576-9777 if you guys wanted to react to that. We're going to head into the phone lines because we got Brandon on with us. Brandon, how you doing, bro?
I'm up here feeling for Joe. It looks like you might have left him with the sickness.
I have no clue what happened. I have zero idea.
Even Drew like he was a little under the weather.
I mean, I sounded fine yesterday. I sounded fine. I mean, I did hawk up a lot of stuff in the shower this morning, but I mean, I felt fine.
Foul. Come on now.
It's the truth. This place is the best place to do it, man. It's all that hot water. You turn
Just
it up
let
to
it
scalding.
all just come down your face.
Just turn it up to scalding.
Ew!
What?
Gross!
You turn it up. You don't turn it up to scalding. When I'm sick, dude, I'm telling you, there's fire coming out of that faucet.
Brandon, what's up? What you got on your mind, bro?
We all talking about uniforms, and I was wondering, is Auburn going to do a uniform this year that's either orange or black and white stripe with a number across the left of the chest?
I asked Brian, what's the freaking coach's name? Was it Hugh Freeze? Yeah, I was thinking Brian Harsin for whatever reason. I asked you up on the stage. I asked him, and it was my first question I've ever asked at SEC Media Days. Usually I just stick to my own and take pictures and do the stream and all that. But I felt like I was in everybody's shoes this week, so I decided to ask the question of the transition between Under Armour and Nike. And you know what I got? Absolutely nothing, because he's not ahead of all that stuff. But, I mean, he could at least throw out what he wants to see possibly come. Like, an orange jersey, I don't think would be a terrible idea, Joe. And maybe a blue on blue, I don't think that would be horrible either. Maybe change the helmet. What colors would you want to see, Joe?
I guarantee you, though, if you asked him about the difference in cellular service, he'd probably know the difference in those. You can...
Wow.
Hey, he had the Nikes on his feet, though.
Yeah. No, look, the orange jersey, I think that would be extremely cool. Plus, it's part of Auburn's history. Mm-hmm. They changed the numbers. I just want letters that I can actually read on the back of the uniform. How about that? Like, I just want bigger letters for the names. Like, give me that. Go back to the size that they were back in 2010 and before that, and not this garbage where, the name Coleman looks like it's 3 inches long. Like, don't give me that garbage. Like, I want that sort of stuff first off so I can actually see the numbers on it. I want a larger logo on the side of the helmets. Some of that stuff as well. That stuff got nicked one point in time because they tried that during a spring game and, old heads complained. Shocker. And so, I want some of that stuff. They got new numbers this year. The fonts kind of changed a little bit as far as the numbers that are going to be on the jerseys. That's different, but it's not much of a difference.
And talking about uniforms, the Falcons are going to wear 1966 throwbacks 3 times this year. Is that a lot to wear throwbacks?
I don't think so. When the uniform's better than what you typically have, I think wear it all the time.
That is true.
I mean, this is like the Dolphins. I mean, just go back to those uniforms.
Yeah, those uniforms are. I think that's kind of what this is they're wanting to do the whole test of seeing what they would do with it. I personally think that they should go back to the 2 legits, but it is, I would take those uniforms over the ones that they currently have. I don't have anything problem with the helmet. I think the helmet looks great.
Yeah,
it's the actual uniform themselves.
Well, you don't like the gradient red to black?
It just.
Have they wore that?
No, you know what I don't like?
They canceled that uniform.
Here's the thing. You know what I don't like? I don't like the ATL at the top. Like, I get it's a nickname. I get it. I know that everybody says ATL. It just looks dumb.
No.
Like, it just does.
I see where you're coming from, but again, this goes back to the culture around Atlanta. I like a little bit of that swagger, but they went a little bit too far with it. With those grading uniforms, just threw it all for me. It kind of ruined the entire uniform group that they brought in, except for I liked the early 2000s uniforms that they had. The black top with the white pants and the black helmet, just with the old dirty bird, like that stuff right there. Those were cool, but all of the other ones, you literally could rock with all of the throwback uniforms for the Falcons, and they'd be better than what they've got now.
I tend to agree with that. And did you see UCS getting new uniforms for this year? I don't know if that's the we're glad Gus is gone or what's up with that one, but they're getting 2 new uniforms this year: a road white and a home color.
You say UCF?
Yeah.
UCF changes uniforms like I change clothes. They always have new uniforms. I can't wait to see their Space U uniforms, though, because those, every year they have a different one. Those look pretty cool. Those look nice.
Look pretty nice.
Yeah.
And did you guys see, right here in my hometown, Rome, Georgia, I go to bed the other night, and I get a call from a friend of mine that works at a 3-digit number that you call if you have a problem. They found some guys that had 800 bombs.
What?
This is a legit story. Rome, Georgia. Type in Rome, Georgia, 800 bombs and pull this up. And they had to set all this stuff off over the side of the mountain back here because it was so unstable.
So, okay. So they had to, okay. I thought this was something.
To detonate all of it.
800 homemade explosives.
So wait, nice. was this like a thing that was sanctioned, or was it just like they had these bombs that they needed to set off?
No, these 2 guys had 800 explosives at their house.
Oh.
Between 2 different places.
Did they get them seized and then they had the government set them off, or did these guys actually set all of these?
The government set them off. Okay. Because they were too unstable to transport.
Which reminds me of 99 red balloons, more like 800 bombs.
I just didn't know what to do with that, and I just wanted to share that with Joe because I don't know if there'll ever be another point in my life where I see something that's that insane. Because the story come out and it was 33, and then the next morning it was 800.
It's a big difference.
So the article that I'm reading right now was talking to one of the neighbors. She says, I just can't believe it. For a while, he was normal. He would sit on his porch, drink his Coca-Cola, and smoke cigarettes. Then all of a sudden, he got keyed out.
Got keyed out.
And here I am in the Southwest Atlanta projects trying to get out here because I'm worried about safety.
Yeah. And
it's funny how we think about things in life.
Back home, you got Daryl and Steven out there behind their trailer making bombs.
Getting that electrical tape and wrapping around.
They grew up from meth. They decided to go to bombs instead.
I told my wife, I think we're going to have to still move to Spring Garden. We're going to have to get farther out. So.
There you go. Got a good basketball
roll tide, gentlemen, and hope the sickness gets better there, Joe. Rattle it out.
Thing is, I don't even feel bad.
Thanks, Brandon.
I don't even feel bad. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. I think this is always the last stage of it because.
What was the first stage?
I don't remember the first stage.
Oh, okay.
I just don't. I don't remember it at all. There's been some days where I'm just like, I don't feel too bad. I'll take a 2 Tylenol or something. I'm done. But now I don't even know what's happening.
No. Either way, you guys could join in on the show as well if you wanted to react to the 800 homemade explosives found in, Georgia, or if you want to react to what Drew had to say,
That's also the nickname of Auburn's coaching hires over the last 30, 40 years, 800 bombs. What?
256-576-97.7 is the number to hop in. When we get back, I rode a scooter for the first time.
Sweet.
Unironically. Oh, yeah, baby.
This is The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. 256-576-4977.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
It's training camp week at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Download the VSiN NFL Betting Guide at VSIN.com. Buccaneers favored to win the NFC South Division title. The Falcons a second choice at plus 250 with an over-under win total prediction of over 7.5 wins. Carolina Panthers prediction under 6.5 wins. The Saints under 5.5 wins. Steve McAdoo says they could be headed for the worst record of the NFL. Paulie Howard of Follow the Money has bet the Saints to have the worst record of the NFL. It's one of his best bets at 5-1. Another of McAdoo's best bets under 6.5 wins at minus 190. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed and all where work is performed. See website for details.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Best of all, now Thompson Tractor is making that investment even better with our Workhorse Special. Get 0% financing for 36 months on the purchase of a new Cat 255 compact track loader that comes with a 3-year warranty. You also get a 74-inch bucket and 1,000-hour filter kit. But hurry, this offer is only good through June 30th. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio. And have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
Your Fox 54 weather, brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the lower 90s. Heat indices aren't going to be as big of a problem today as they have been over the last couple of days. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast. We drop into the mid-70s as we head into the overnight. Much the same for your Saturday. A partly sunny sky. Temperatures climbing into the lower 90s with some scattered showers and thunderstorms.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN Zone. Coming up on Monday, Fleming Roofing and Restoration High School Football Media Day, presented by the Huntsville Sports Edition on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Friday on the Blitz. John Abraham, Joe Hunk, chilling out with you, and you're chilling out with us. Appreciate you guys listening throughout the week as we got through SEC Media Days, and I found a way to get back home the other day, all right?
Found a way to get back home.
Found a way to get back home. Sounds like the sound of a song. Oh, let me sit down for this one.
Okay.
Because I've been standing all week.
I'm really kind of curious now.
So we were leaving. It was Wednesday, okay? And on these trips, Joe, I always love a little bit of fun. I like to sightsee a little bit and all that stuff. It felt like that wasn't going to happen this time around. It was kind of just, it was my fourth year. There was going to be one of those years where it's just not as interesting as some of the others. But I will say there were a lot of firsts on this trip. I had Wingstop in downtown Atlanta, which was quite interesting. The seasoning was amazing. The chicken sandwich was wonderful. All right. But I decided I was going to get home the way I wanted to get home. And also I left my charger up in where the studio was at, where we were doing the show. Okay. And Wes and Drew were already halfway out the door. So their Uber arrived. And I said, don't worry about it, Wes. Appreciate you.
I got you.
But don't worry about it. I'll find my way home. You. So I'm downloading the Uber app. I'm also trying to figure out how I can get in one of these driverless cars in downtown Atlanta, because
at least one Abraham wasn't scared of that thing.
I ain't no wuss. All right. I'm not scared of heights. I ain't scared of nothing except for submecophobia.
Yeah, me too. Submecophobia. Mm-hmm.
But there was a scooter that was
a fear of Randall Cobb?
No.
Double checking.
Look, I should have just told him to sit down. There was a scooter that was right outside. I downloaded the Uber app. I scanned it. And I was like, I'm going to get home this way, because if I walk, it's going to take me an hour and 40 minutes. I ain't going to do that. All right. I thought it would take me 12 minutes to walk back, but that was the car ride. So I decided to hop on this scooter. I drove through Atlanta. It was quite blissful, I will admit.
And you guys made fun of me. People make fun of me for this all the time.
For what? Riding on a scooter?
What kind of scooter? Is this a sit-down scooter or is this stand-up scooter?
No, this is a stand-up scooter.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I had the bag on the back. I had my camera on the side. I was taking pictures. I was going through the city. I was doing Snapchat. It was very dangerous. It said to wear a helmet. I didn't have a helmet on me.
This is how I got around Nashville whenever we had events.
It's a great way to do it. Also, they're illegal in Nashville now.
Scooters are illegal?
Yeah. God. They banned the scooters in Nashville.
So no more Lime, no more Bird, no more.
That's what I've heard, because people were getting injured on them.
Well, yeah, because you can go like 20 miles per hour on these suckers.
My scooter wouldn't go that fast. That's what's upsetting.
Your scooter sucks.
My scooter was probably a little bit out of battery, but I will say I had a lot of fun riding through Atlanta. I felt fine. I felt safe. I don't think it was as bad as a lot of people like to make it out to be. I think Atlanta's a great city.
No, Atlanta's an amazing city.
And, I got home in the span of 21 minutes, and I even stopped at the Krispy Kreme and had a little bit of a walk back to the Verbo. So I'll say this. My scooter experience, for the first time, unironically riding one, trying to get from destination A to destination B, was absolutely amazing.
See, I don't understand why people are so offended. I'm so upset about this.
I mean, Wes laughed at me a little bit but he also was pretty proud of me. Tom was proud of me. He wanted to know all about it. I mean, I thought it was a very good form of transportation. You just got to be smart on this thing. You can't be flying. You got to look both ways when you're crossing the road. And you got to make sure you're not just going to hit a freaking bump that's going to throw you off the thing. Be ready. Bend those knees, boys.
I like the way you say bend the knee, like be ready. Like, what the heck are you supposed to be ready for?
The cracks in the road. Atlanta roads are not that good.
Well, of course they're not. They got cracks. Do they not have a bike lane?
I was on the sidewalk the whole time.
Okay, so yeah, in Nashville they have bike lanes.
There was some
so
bike
you're
lanes.
on the road the whole time. Like, that's the thing. You're on that bike lane, you're on the road the whole time.
Look, Joe, I would be fine with riding in one of those driverless cars. I would not be fine with driving on a scooter next to a driverless car.
It's not that bad.
Come on.
I swear.
That thing could have accidentally swerved away from another car into me, not knowing that I was there.
Dude.
Blindside.
Do you realize how much money you would have gotten?
You're not wrong.
See what I'm saying? All right, cool. I got to a little fender bender go 20 miles per hour. All right, I have my seatbelt on. We're good. But boy, Uber's about to hear from my lawyer.
No, I would be on the scooter while the car hits me. The driverless car hits me. So even more money.
That's even more, especially if you were within all the rules as far as legal is concerned and it's the actual fake driver's fault.
You know, I'll put it on my will. If I got hit by a driverless car, all the money from that, if I don't make it, going to the station, put it into the video production side of things. Hour number 2 coming up next here on the Blitz. John Abraham, Joe Hunk. We'll see you over there.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. This is the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do a road control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This is Steve Moulton for Tellini's Italiano. Tellini's Italiano is located right in front of the Walmart, right off of University, behind the McDonald's. More or less catty corner from Topgolf. It's one of my favorite places to go to, and if you go there, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you need to try the baked spaghetti, add a meatball. Also try the baked ziti with meat sauce, add sausage. You'll thank me. Save room for some pizzas and paninis as well. And don't forget about dessert as well. The best cheesecake I have had here in North Alabama is at Tellini's Italiano. Find out for yourself today. That's Tellini's Italiano, right off of University Drive in front of the Walmart. Located online at Tellinis.com. That's TELLINIS.com. Let's get some Tellini's tonight.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
1 in 3 adults in America have prediabetes, but most don't know it.
To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Years 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom my. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 80 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer. She's on the honor roll. She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
This is Brent Musburger's VSIN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
It's training camp week at VSIN, the Sports Betting Network. Download the VSIN NFL Betting Guide at VSIN.com. Buccaneers favored to win the NFC South Division title. The Falcons a second choice at plus 250 with an over-under win total prediction of over 7.5 wins. Carolina Panthers prediction under 6.5 wins. The Saints under 5.5 wins. Steve McAdoo says they could be headed for the worst record of the NFL. Paulie Howard of Follow the Money has bet the Saints to have the worst record of the NFL. It's one of his best bets at 5-1. Another of McAdoo's best bets under 6.5 wins at minus 190. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the lower 90s. Heat indices aren't going to be as big of a problem today as they have been over the last couple of days. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast. We drop into the mid-70s as we head into the overnight. Much the same for your Saturday. A partly sunny sky. Temperatures climbing into the lower 90s with scattered showers and thunderstorms.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Log on today, 97.7ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Second hour, final hour, best hour. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, and the Blitz. Joe Hunk, John Abraham on a Friday where we are live and in studio. I don't know how alive we are in the studio, but we are alive.
I'm pretty alive.
Yeah, you are. I'm live. I just don't know why my voice sounds like this.
You're
It can't sound
kicking.
like this on Monday.
You're kicking.
It cannot sound like this on Monday.
It can't. No. It's all right. Take some lozenges or whatever they call them, and you'll be fine by Monday. My sickness left at the perfect time.
It did.
And I think the same can happen for you. I still have some of that phlegm, though. So I'm not going to get into that gross
Phlegm is
conversation
different
again.
than Fleming Roofing and Restoration, right?
Totally different from Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Fleming Roofing and Restoration shows up when you want them to, whereas Flem is kind of just there at times. Those are the guys, though, that you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you just look them up online. FlemingHSV.com is the place to find them. And, well, they'll show up and get your roof fixed so you can rest assured while enjoying the games you want to watch inside your comfy little home. Now, Joe, we got a lot of fun things to get into. Of course, we're going to be having another special guest coming on later on throughout the show. We'll get to that in a moment. The phone lines are open to you for this first segment. 256-576. 97.7 is the number to hop in, and we'll do just that as we got Harry on the lines with us. Harry, how are you doing today?
Hey, John. Good morning. I'm sorry Joe's got his voice under the weather.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
Couple of comments real quick. Great coverage for the Southeastern Conference Media Day. I've been listening to it for years, and y'all really knocked it out of the park. The whole team, Talkin Ball and Blitz and Tom really did a great job with the coverage. And it's also, I like the balance y'all had across the week with mixing it in with live venues with the coaches, but also what y'all did on the fly. It really worked well. And anybody that's had an operation that was that dynamic has to go for the appreciation it takes to put it together in the time frame. A couple of things real quick. Drew is a walking encyclopedia on Southeastern Conference sports. It's always a pleasure to listen to him, and it's really great. Y'all kind of went hard on the Alabama coach. You know I'm an Auburn fan, so I think DeBoer's coming around. But you got to remember, in the early days, Miss Terry had to jerk a knot in Saban because he'd rather eat dirt than go talk to the press after a ball game. So I think DeBoer's going to come around. He also realizes he was short of expectations last year, and actions speak louder than words. And he's going to come around. And he's a different personality, but I think y'all got the right coach over there at Alabama.
No doubt.
Hugh Freeze, there's nothing he can say in July that's going to cover his ass in the fall. So he's going to keep it guarded. He's going to keep it close. Hope he can get out a good product this year because he's failed the last 2 years, and it's going to be really tough if he doesn't have a winning season. And it better be 8 or better wins, or he's going to be on the hot seat even further. And it's going to be one of those things week to week. Don't worry about his golf game. He's not a golfer. I'd be willing to bet that some of those golf matches were things that were imposed on him with sponsors and people you had to play with that are throwing money at the program. Yeah. Last thing, great opportunity next week with the local coverage. Y'all going to be giving local sports. I think that's the food chain that needs to be developed now in high school, and emphasis on sportsmanship and how you play the game and what the game means to legacy. And that's something a lot of people don't understand anymore in this name, pre-NIL warming up for the season. Tammy Coates has got a real challenge out there rebuilding the program out there in Madison, but y'all do a great job of covering that. And I think he's going to bring a lot of improvement to that program. They're pretty close to the bottom, and he's having to rebuild it from the bottom up. He's got a golf tournament the 1st of August, but he's putting a lot of energy in a place that hadn't had a lot of energy about football. I'll shut up now and let y'all get back to your program, but I really enjoyed your week at the SEC Media Days, and looking forward to the opportunity y'all bring to the local area next week with the local sports teams. We've got some really dynamic coaches and athletes in this area, and it's you guys that really highlight that on y'all's free program.
No doubt.
Thank you very much for all you do, and y'all have a great day.
Thank you, man. Harry, very good stuff from you, man. And I did want to actually bring more to our coverage. Joe, I had a chance. I had a very slim chance, but I had a chance.
Let's get around the call.
Well, I also had a very slim. I had a chance to talk to him too.
I'm totally gonna bust you on that.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. I'll have to wait until next year until that one. But Talon Green was walking about. Now, Arkansas football player, Arkansas quarterback going into his second year. One of the few quarterbacks that is going into his second year with the program as a starter. And it almost came around to where we were about to talk with him, and then he had to go down and talk with the press and all of that jazz. And when he came back, well, I was probably already gone. Really wanted to talk with him. We'll talk a little bit more about Arkansas as well as some of the other teams that we highlighted throughout the week. But we do need to keep the conversation rolling on the phone lines because Jason is on with us. Jason, how you doing, brother?
Jason.
Hey.
Okay. What's up, bro?
Oh, no. Hey, I got a question for you.
What's up?
Why is Shane Beamer's name never mentioned for a job? I think he'd be perfect for Auburn.
Ooh. I feel like Shane Beamer's a little less proven when it comes down to it. I know where you're coming from. Last season with South Carolina, this team was good, but I mean, again, this is coming from a guy that he's finally got a quarterback, and that's one thing that you could say about Auburn too. Maybe they finally got their quarterback, but I mean, a quarterback can make a coach look a lot better if that offense is running right.
And I think that a lot of it also comes down to, yes, Shane Beamer is showing that he is able to, that he's moving South Carolina in the right direction. Mm-hmm. He just hasn't got them there yet.
Yeah.
And so I want to see him get them there to the 10-win seasons, to the NY6s, like those types of things before I start saying, hey, this is a guy. Can you see the progress? Absolutely. You absolutely can. But then when you look at Eli, he only lost one game at App State when he was the head coach for 1 year there. He's already got 2 10-win seasons at Missouri. And you can see that year in and year out, again, I forget about them sometimes when we're talking about scheduling. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, he's like, all right, cool. We want you to forget about us because you won't forget about us at the fourth quarter when we're taking a knee. Like there's those sort of things that you just go, this guy is somehow, some way continuing to develop talent that you do not see in college football because we're in such this transfer portal era that he's developing players over a year or two and he's able to develop them into true talents, not just what they need for the program at that period of time. Like that's my biggest thing with Hugh Freeze is you're not developing talent. What you're doing is just trying to figure out what can work best for your system. And afterwards, you don't care what happens to it.
And Joe, I really hope that this year, we do see a little progression from Hugh Freeze in this Auburn team because this is an opportunity for him to carry a quarterback into a second year in Auburn. We didn't get to really see it with Peyton Thorne. He comes over, it was recruited from a different coach. And then now you bring in a guy from Oklahoma, who at one point was highly touted, had a bad season with a team that he just did not meld with. And now if this is the spot that he's able to find some success, then Hugh Freeze could have a totally different rhetoric going into next season.
Yeah, Hugh needs to – he's not conservative.
He's not what? Say it again. Your phone broke up. I think we lost.
You got him beat 3 games.
All right, you may have to say all that again. Your phone broke up on us.
I think
you dropped on us.
I think we got you until you said conservative, and then it kind of went from there.
Hey, let's go ahead and kill that. Just, hey, call us back when you got a better cell service because I was curious about this. And I think that, again, I know it's hard to compare Alabama and Auburn. Like, obviously, you can't compare them when it comes to the last decade or anything along those lines. Mm-mm. But the one thing that Nick Saban did do well that I think that doesn't get talked about as much, you talk about the 5-star talent coming in, you talk about all that, but at the same time, he also was getting 5-star guys to come in and stay for 2-3 years without even truly touching the field for more than just special teams. And the reason was because he was showcasing that, look, if you stay with me for 2 or 3 years, we build you up. Your biggest goal, we know what your goal is. You want to play on Sunday. Mm-hmm. We know that. We are preparing you to play on Sundays. You may not get the reps you want in your freshman or sophomore year, depending on a need, if injury is not. But when you do step on the field, you are going to be so good when you step on that field that it may only take you 1 year to become a round 2 or round draft pick.
What's the biggest?
Because you're that good.
What's the biggest difference between Nick Saban and every other coach in the SEC right now?
Well, it's for him. It was the ability to teach long term.
Well, I'm looking
that's the way I look at it.
I'm looking at the way that he had players on his team. His quarterbacks were already there. He didn't have to bring anybody in. Did he ever have a quarterback that started a game that was a transfer quarterback? No, he didn't.
Coker.
Well, that was a different story because that was before people could transfer left and right.
Yeah,
but
Coker was the first one.
He still had time to kind of stay in that organization to kind of up before he even had time to play. He wasn't able to play right as soon as he transferred. Yeah. Whereas a lot of these coaches, they're getting these transfers in, you throw them into the fire, they have to perform or they're going to be out of there just like that. That never happened with Nick Saban. Even Jake Coker. He had success that year back in, 2016, 2017?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't really it wasn't him.
But it wasn't him. Yeah. It was the team around him. And that's something that I don't think we can see a lot of in this day and age where you can just have a mediocre quarterback and a stellar team wrapped around him. and lead that to success. You need to have that playmaker at the QB position.
And maybe I'm just in this way that the whole idea of development is really not in college football right now. It may not be. Because with the way that college football is, it may not be about the patience to develop with a program for two. We understand that. We're seeing it right now as far as transfer portal is concerned. So that may not be there right now, but I think that's the biggest thing that I've always graded Auburn on, because I've seen it done so well at Alabama as far as developing talent. Now, again, you can get 5 stars on 5 stars. We've seen that you can get the 5 stars in. But they still have to live up to the hype based on work ethic. Like, there's a lot of people that have BS'd whenever Nick Saban was like, we don't even care about star rating. We look at the work ethic, the player, their ability to learn, like those things. And you want to roll your eyes at it. It's like, bullcrap. You're getting, the number 1 and number 2 player at every single position every year. What are you talking about? Like, they hear that, but at the same time, you come in as a 5-star, but you still have to be a quote-unquote 5-star your entire career while you're there to prove that you are worthy of that ranking. Because how many times do we look back, and we can go back to 24/7 rankings of 2021 and look at these players like, this guy, do you even know who this guy is? How many reps does he haven't played on the field? Like, how many snaps has this guy even made? Like, we see that so often, because you've got to get into a program and the player has to have the work ethic to listen and not just tuck their tail between their legs and leave. And that's where I've always graded Auburn on, is their inability to develop at football, because other sports they do it, but the inability to develop players there. Because you look at the draft. How many years, you go back 2 or 3 years since you've really discussed an Auburn player being truly a part of a draft that they can make an impact on a round 1 or round 2. There's an issue with that. Like, that's not just, they just don't like their helmet. No, they don't care about the helmet. I promise you. Because the moment they put their hand in the dirt, they don't care what helmet they're using or whatever they are. It's because when you're at the NFL Combine, they're all in the same color. It's not, he went to this one. They look at that and going, all right, well, we know that this coach can coach. We know this coach can develop. We know that this coach is just there to plug and play. Like, you can look at that. That's always been my issue with Auburn. They always go for the short, quick fixes instead of the long-term development. And that's what Alabama did so incredibly well, regardless as to who it was. Developing a talent, getting a person in the building and having them grow at that position, where when they look back at their freshman tape, they go, crap, I can't believe I did that. Like, I can see what the issue is. And they don't do it in their junior year. They don't do it in their senior year. That's what I want as far as development is concerned in a football program, because that isn't the case right now.
Well, Joe, you gotta look at the success that Auburn's had in the past too. Cam Newton was a transfer quarterback, comes in from Florida. You then look at a guy like Nick Marshall. Nick Marshall wasn't at Auburn when he started his football career. He was at Georgia.
He was a secondary player at Georgia.
Yeah. So this has kind of been the case for more than just this whole new generation of college.
Because they always
football.
want the flash in the pan.
Yeah.
Like, they genuinely just want that 1 year spark.
And it can work, but it also isn't going to be something that
that's
works
what Jackson
long-term.
Arnold is.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest.
Jackson
Arnold is that exact thing. A guy that didn't do well at his last school, that is looking for redemption, that you're taking it for 1 year. That's what it is. Like, we can look at Deuce Knight and go, hey, this freshman coming in, you can develop him over 3 or 4 years.
There you go.
You don't know that, because you had that last year with Walker White.
Yep.
And he's gone. Like, you had that ability. You had this idea of these freshmen growing up together, and you didn't even let Walker on the field. Now, I don't know why that is. It could have been that he didn't know the playbook well enough. It could have been. There could have been legitimate issues in the locker room as far as that QB room, where he wasn't reading enough on the field for the coaching staff to be okay with putting him on the field. That's a total legitimate thing. But you've got to figure out why that is and adjust your recruiting strategy that way. And don't force bringing a guy in. Look, this isn't anything about what happened with Simmons. And Malcolm Simmons, that whole thing is a Malcolm Simmons issue. I'm not looking at character issues and, this guy that was a 3-string linebacker doing that. No, I'm not talking about that. The reason why you didn't see that in Tuscaloosa a lot was because they also took a lot of character into this. I'm not saying that Malcolm Simmons is not a character guy because I don't know much about him as far as off the field is concerned. But that is a part of this that you have to look at as well, is you just don't look at the star rating so that you can win in February, because it's not about winning in February in college football. It's about winning in January in college football and not at a NY6 bowl.
No doubt about it, Joe. We got to hop into a break, though, because when we get back, we're going to talk with a guy that knows a little bit about a thing or two, David Cohn. He is from the Cain and Company show, and he's going to be hopping on with us in the next segment to break down a little bit of what he saw from SEC Media Days and so much more. So keep it dialed in to 97.7 ESPN The Zone or WZZN TV with the Blitz live here in studio for the first time this week. We'll be right back.
Phone lines are open now. 256-576-4977. This is The Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You can now do more without it costing you more. Alabama's attractions have come together to offer the all-in-one ticket that downloads to your mobile device. No matter how many attractions listed on the ticket you see during the time span you bought, your price stays the same. Pick the right ticket option that best fits your schedule, and then enjoy more attractions without spending more. All-in-one tickets for different areas of Alabama are available at alabama.travel and other places where online tickets are sold. Brought to you by Alabama Tourism Department, the ABA, and this station.
I'm here with our good friend John Kendall. He's got 20 powered up with the #1 retail mortgage lender in the nation.
That's right, Scott. We have joined with Cross Country Mortgage, and that is true. We're the #1 retail mortgage lender in America. And with that power team and our experience here locally, we're ready to go.
They've got 120 mortgage, refinance, and home equity solutions to fit every need. If you call on Cross Country Mortgage, it is for the win.
That's right. You can reach me, Scott, at 256-562-3780, or you can go to crosscountrymortgage.com and then search my name.
It's Cross Country Mortgage and John Kendall, a powerhouse team. One more time, John.
That's crosscountrymortgage.com, 256-562-3780. If we can't close your loan, it simply cannot be closed.
Equal Housing Opportunity Company in MLS, number 3029.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Sure, Valley Equipment Rental takes care of the homeowner and his needs, but how about the pros out there? Well, Valley Equipment has the big stuff as well. The equipment you need to get any job done. I'm talking about the big track hoe excavators, from the 30,000-pound mid-size one to the big boy 50,000-pound units. Need a dozer on the job? Well, they've got them up to 105 horsepower, and that's a good size. Plus, Valley Equipment has more lifts than anyone around. Up to 80-foot booms that reach 56 feet with a 10,000-pound capacity. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Check them out today. Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event at Woody Anderson Ford. Hey folks, Bobby White back again, and I'm here to tell you now is the time to get the Ford you've been thinking about. From 0 down leases to 0% financing, we've got it going on this summer. Woody Anderson Ford has financing as low as 0% for 48 months, 0 down payment, plus 0 payments for 90 days, plus 2-year, 25,000-mile complimentary maintenance. You can choose a 2025 Escape, F-150, Explorer, or a Mustang. Or how about 0 down lease, $499 a month for a 2025 Explorer, F-150, or Bronco, and just $399 a month for Bronco Sport, Mustang, and Escape. Again, these are 0 down with complimentary maintenance too. This is a 36-month lease with 0 down, 0 security deposit, just tax, tag, title, and your good credit. These offers end 9/2/25. It's our Woody Anderson Ford Summer Sales Event. So hurry on down. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhauer here. We're extremely proud that Baumhauer's Victory Grill has been serving Alabama for 43 legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes, and of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhauer's Victory Grill, legendary fun, legendary food.
The Tom Abraham Show. Weekdays beginning at noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
256-576-977 as we continue on the Blitz on this Friday morning. Joe Hunk, John Abraham with you. Don't forget to follow us on X at Joe Hunk, at John Abraham ESPN, and of course 977 ESPN for everything, including the way to watch the show on WZZN TV. Comments are open as we continue throughout the show as well. Matthew hopping in saying good morning. Good morning, bro. We appreciate you going in. Chat sometimes can get a little lively. Can come its own little ecosystem, so you can hop in over there and continue to go on. Shocker, because it's been so long since we've actually talked about this as well, is the second half of the baseball season also starting tonight. It is in Atlanta. It is going to be Yankees and Braves that get going. Spencer Strider is going to be on the mound for the Braves, getting the second half started, as right now they are 12 and a half games back of the first place in the NL East, and 9.5 back of the wild card spot that they could possibly get into. So this should be fun.
Not terrible, and I'm glad we didn't
65 games left.
Didn't really miss out on too much, because the Braves, of course, weren't playing any baseball. The same could be said for the Trash Pandas, on a break for All-Star Week, but things are going to get back and rolling, so make sure you guys have it tuned in to 97.7 ESPN The Zone to see or to hear this comeback story go into place. I'd like to see it happen, Joe, but how realistic truly is it as we await for David to hop on?
Not very realistic at all, just to be honest with you. Again, I told you I was giving it to the All-Star break. This isn't very realistic at all. The only way that this is going to happen is if they go on some sort of 10-game winning streak or something along those lines, which I absolutely do not expect. And I think that, again, you can see how good the Braves are as far as your Matt Olson, Geronimo Acuna Jr., those types of things. Unless there's an absolutely totally different mentality coming out in the second half of the season, then you can go ahead and just start looking towards football. Because that's one thing that I do love about baseball is that the moment it starts getting in August, then it starts getting into September, and you're like, oh yeah, we're starting to get ready for the playoffs. I'm gonna have college football on one channel. I'm gonna have a baseball game on the other channel. During October, we're gonna have TVs going on at the same time with all different playoff games and college football games. I love it. Yeah, that's not going to be the case.
Well, I mean, the Braves did make a move today, which I don't know if you caught it.
I mean, I know the move.
The news has been circulating.
Yeah.
Rangers trade Dane Dunning to the Braves. What does this really do for him at this point? Is this enough to add to that bullpen that could maybe see some sort of change? I mean, even if it's not an insane turnaround, could we see a little bit of progression in the right direction in the second half?
He has only pitched in a few games so far this season for Texas.
Hasn't been horrible.
He hasn't
been great.
It's not that he's been bad at all. I mean, he's only got like a 3.38 ERA, which is very good. I know that a lot of times you obviously want to look at sub twos when you're talking about it. I also, one thing that I look for is their whip and things along those lines, as far as how good players are playing against him. And when you start looking at those types of numbers, especially for guys that you really don't know much about. But the whole thing with him is that he pitched one game in April, one game in June, and then he's pitched in about 3 games in July. and he has only given up 1 run in those last 3 appearances. So it is a piece back into the bullpen for what I've been wanting. Okay, let's at least see if he can solidify that back end of it. Because again, let's not act like it's a bad thing. Iglesias was pitching well towards the very end of this. If the Braves don't start winning in the next, 12 some odd days, then they're gonna sell Rafael Iglesias because he's been actually pitching well enough now that you could possibly find a back end of the bullpen need somewhere else around Major League Baseball that you could possibly get some players for. So there's an opportunity to trade him. Marcell Ozuna, the only way the Braves are trading him is if he is going to a team like the Dodgers, the Cubs. He is going to the Yankees or Red Sox. He is going to be going to like the Tigers, like those teams that he thinks that he would have an opportunity to make a deep playoff run. That's the only way he's doing this because he has a no trade clause.
Well, we're a little bit skeptical on what the Braves could do, but we aren't skeptical on what the SEC can do. Of course, coming out of Atlanta, SEC Media Days wraps up, and we still got a lot of discussion to get into. And joining us now on WZZN TV is David Kona from Crane & Company. And David, good to see you, man. It's been a long week. I hope you got enough rest yesterday because the grind really does not stop when you were covering SEC football. Even when it's supposed to be the dead period, it's just never truth.
There's no dead period. There's no days off. Yes, I did get a lot of rest. Feeling great this morning until I hopped on here and heard you guys talking about the Braves, man. I can't wait to switch topics and talk about something different, brother.
So who are the Atlanta Braves in the SEC? Let's say that. Yeah, let's go there.
Kentucky right now. Sorry.
No, I'm actually curious as to why you said Kentucky.
I mean, there's no hope right now for the Braves for me. And I got in a lot of trouble because I said the Braves are just, this was, I guess, season before last, the Braves are just a regular season team and can't get it done in the postseason. I had to be reminded by people like, hey, we just won the World Series, be grateful. And I'm like, yes, I do need to cherish that because when I was going to games all those years and watching, Ryan Klesko, Andres Galarraga, Walt Weiss, Keith Lockhart, Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones, all those guys, it was like we couldn't win the World Series. So we did finally get one, but now we stink in the regular season. Anyway, I told myself I wasn't going to talk about the Braves. Feel free to switch the
I like how you dropped that early 2000s lineup on us like that. Like I've all of those trends on TikTok where it's like teams that had great lineups but never won a World Series. You start looking at them, you're going, those were actually really good.
Well, and that was without mentioning any of the pitchers.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you start talking about Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine and Smoltzy, but I will say I met Ryan Klesko a year ago at a Lee Greenwood event. So cool, man. So I'm kind of borderline friends with Ryan Klesko now. I'm trying to strengthen that relationship. Maybe he should go back and play for him.
I mean, look, if he did the blip right now, I mean, actually, people may actually get madder about it in 2025 than what they did in '96. When I had my first home run as a little kid, I did the Ryan Klesko bat flip, and the umpire just went, "Just don't do it again, please." I was like, "Is it because the bat went to the pitcher's mound?" I'm sorry.
Well, changing the subject because, of course, we're not here to talk some baseball. We're more here to talk some SEC football. We talked with Drew DeArmond earlier on, of course, talking ball, and he got a great conversation with you guys over at Crane Company as well. But, first reaction, biggest thing that you take away from Atlanta, from SEC Media Days, what is something that sticks with you that doesn't center around Nick Saban and a coach that is not going to come back to football?
Oh, I was going to say Nick Saban. Sorry, you took that away from me. Yeah, I love that. That's the first thing that breaks from Greg McElroy on Monday morning is that, a source has said that Nick Saban's going to return to college football. And I sort of just rolled my eyes, and we asked Tony Barnhart about it, and he said as much. And I thought, hey, maybe this will be a very exciting media days. We're here in Atlanta. We're here at the College Football Hall of Fame, which Kimberly Bowden and them at the College Football Hall of Fame, they do such an incredible job. But after that, just kind of a boring week. My biggest takeaway is, man, the coaches and players really do hate the media, don't they? I mean, we're like public enemy number one now. I don't really understand it. We're the conduit to the fans. Without the fan obsession, You have nothing. You have nothing. You wouldn't be able to coach and play football. But anyway, that's the diatribe I won't go on. On the field specifically, I left with the same takeaway that I went into. I'm fascinated by how the quarterback play is matching up per school. And what I mean with that is you don't have a situation where, an Alabama – or Georgia right now is returning like the best quarterback in the country. Those two schools with the rosters that they have are going to be starting new guys. And I think we all want to see, what can Gunnar Stockton do at Georgia, the pride of Rabun County? What can Ty Simpson do at Alabama? And then you look at LSU, another one of those like blue blood brands, and they are returning Garrett Nussmeier. And one of the things I was talking about with Matt Moscona this week, talking about LSU, is, has there been any growth in the off season, right? Like, is this just going to be a copy and paste Garrett Nussmeier from 2024 to 2025? If that's the case, that's still really good. He's the only returning 4,000-yard passer in the country. But I don't know if that's enough to win you a national championship when you have to play Clemson on the road week 1 and then run through an SEC schedule, right? So I want to see what's the growth throughout the season. And then obviously that second tier down of a lot of the players. I'm fascinated to see, like, Arch Manning getting his shot, to start this year. What's that growth going to look like when we saw him sort of in duty, a very like Tim Tebow-ish from 06 sort of role when he would come in packages of Chris Lee. Lenoris Sellers, we talked with Shane Beamer, and I asked him straight to his face. I'm like, does this kid even have a ceiling? Like, if he accomplishes what he's capable of from a physical standpoint and a playmaking standpoint, it really is hard not to bring up the comparisons to Cam Newton. I think DJ Lagway at Florida is another situation. Could be as good as it gets in the country. Is the roster good enough, and is the schedule too difficult to keep from competing for an SEC championship? And I mean, I could go on and on. Texas A&M, I don't see any glaring weaknesses. I think Marcel Reed is a very, very strong quarterback, but can you show it to me week in and week out throughout the course of the season, or is this just going to be another 8-4, make your jokes about A&M and miss the playoff?
No. And there's a big conversation around the hot seat, and nobody was going to tell it straight to some of these coaches' faces, but who do you think is possibly not going to make it to next season when it comes to some of these top coaches in this conference?
Yeah, this is always a difficult discussion because I know a lot of these guys personally. I mean, some of them are even friends of mine now that I've developed a relationship or that I played with at Michigan. And so I'm never rooting for anyone to get fired. Okay. I think the situation with Arkansas and Sam Pittman has been fascinating for a long time now, just because in a way that Ed Orgeron was perfect for LSU in many ways, Sam Pittman is really perfect for the Hogs, right? For Arkansas football. But they haven't been able to sort of replicate the success they had when Bobby Petrino was the head coach. And then when he's on staff, that kind of makes things weird. And so I don't know what's going to happen at Arkansas. I know everyone wants to bring up Billy Napier, but look, I thought down the stretch of last season, he won some big football games, and to be able to get a quarterback like DJ Lagway to your school, and not only that, but to retain him in the NIL era. And look, we did our top 25 players in the SEC list here on Crane and Company. I mean, Florida had 4 guys maybe on the list, and at key positions up front on the offensive and defensive line. I know everyone talks about the schedule, but I think Billy Napier and Florida are going to be trending up this year. Hugh Freeze at Auburn is another one that's really interesting. Obviously, Jake Crane and Blaine Crane on this show, big Auburn fans. I think they had a large hand in convincing the Auburn fan base that Hugh Freeze was right for that job. They were big advocates of his coming from Liberty. And you saw him, he stuck by Peyton Thorne, not just year 1, but then again year 2. Now you're bringing in Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma, who didn't perform great down the stretch of that season, got benched by the Sooners. I understand the investment analogy of, well, you bought the stock low, let's see if it can rise. And I do think Jackson Arnold will be better this year than last year. But is it good enough to win the amount of games that Hugh Freeze needs to be the coach long-term at Auburn? I think a lot of people in this studio right here are really interested in that answer.
We need to talk about this. If they're the ones trying to calm Auburn fan base about Hugh Freeze, again, I'm not, I love Auburn. And John knows this. I hate him.
This was before he took the job.
Oh, I hated him before he took the job. And so
fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, so we're talking about this, and look, I don't think the media picks and all that have come out just yet about SEC media days. The teams are going to be at the top are going to be your Texas, your Alabama, your Georgias, your LSUs. Like those will be it. But it's also kind of a unique season because the real quarterbacks that a lot of people are talking about aren't at those teams outside of an Arch Manning. You mentioned Gunnar Stockton.
Exactly.
But he's not sexy like Diego Pavia is. Like you start, like Gunnar Stockton isn't sexy like what you're looking at when you start talking about the other quarterbacks like your DJ Lagways. I mean, Jackson Arnold has a little bit of people that are focusing on him, but not for those reasons. The quarterback position is so important for these lower tier teams or the bottom of the SEC to have those runs. But which one of those teams have the quarterback that you look back and we think in November is going to be like, hold up, this team still has that South Carolina shot where if something happens, they're being put into that position of an SEC championship, a college football playoff.
Second tier down, the answer is probably Texas A&M, but I'll give you one right here and one that we haven't even talked about yet on this quarterback list, and that's John Mateer at Oklahoma. I am so excited to watch this kid play. I've broken down his Washington State film twice so far this offseason, and I'll tell you what, the kid is an absolute complete player. Now, the question obviously is, okay, can you come from Washington State and make that translate every single week in the SEC? That's what everyone wants to know. But you know what? The last guy from Washington State who was playing quarterback who transferred out to Miami, he did pretty great, okay? And he went number 1 overall to the Titans, and that's Cam Ward. I think that this John Mateer guy at Oklahoma, with bringing in Jay Nott at running back, and we just spoke with Jim Nagy, the general manager at Oklahoma, and he said that Jay Nott is 100% completely healthy. Just think about the zone read game between those two guys. And then you add in playing Michigan week 2, which, hey, the Crane and Company team might need to be at Oklahoma, Michigan week 2 and get out to Norman.
Okay, you mentioned Jim Nagy, and I think that this is a low-tier thing that people haven't really paid attention to because the general manager type stuff that Nagy and a lot of other people are going to be doing. How big was that for Oklahoma to literally lure the guy away from the Senior Bowl where his entire job is scouting the talent throughout college football to bring them into his bowl game? Like, I feel like that's one of those things of like Oklahoma did that goes, you know, it's that meme, we're thinking smarter than what a lot of other people are.
You ask how big was it? It was seismic. And that would be the answer even if you were just to bring Jim Nagy to your program in general. But at this time, when all of this is sort of new still, when the plates are still shifting on which programs have general managers, how do they fit in with the program? You saw Stanford bring in Andrew Luck, and he's actually like over not only the head coach, but maybe even the AD. That's why I was interested to hear from Jim Nagy. How does the power dynamic work between you and the head coach and the athletic director? He didn't 100% answer it, which I understand. He gave a very diplomatic answer. But at this time in college football, when there's so much chaos, not just paying players with NIL, but now you have the House versus the NCAA ruling, and you can use that $20.5 million for your athletic program. To have a guy with the expertise of Jim Nagy, you bring him in to be able to assemble a roster. And Jim Nagy said an important thing to us. It's not just player evaluation, but player valuation, because now you've got a monetary figure attached to it as well. And so, look, I think they're going to have a great year. It's you're talking about hot seats. Brent Venables is another guy who's right there. He's got to prove it. This is the year. I just hope he doesn't prove it week 2.
So how far did this Tennessee stock fall? I mean, I feel like this is the first time we've really looked at Vanderbilt as the team in Tennessee that's going to be able to run the SEC, whereas Tennessee, I mean, ever since that whole Iamaleava story and he goes over to UCLA, I feel like the stock has plummeted. What are your opinions on this Tennessee Volunteers team going into season 2025?
I'll say one thing on your point there about Vandy. The closer we get to the season and the more that I watch, the more I'm thinking about selling the Vandy stock. And I hate to say this as someone who is just a tremendous Diego Pavia fan. He is a gamer position of the highest order. But I'm starting to look at some of the distractions and the way that he is positioning himself off the field in the offseason, and combined with that, he was able to have so much success last year beating Alabama and beating Auburn. And I mean, they did lose to Georgia State. So when he's talking about running the state of Tennessee, I'm like, hey, let's just beat Georgia State first. But you're not going to be sneaking up on anyone. I'm starting to think that I'm going to be selling the Vanderbilt stock a little bit, especially in terms of running this state. Now, Josh Heupel, I think, the narrative of, well, Josh Heupel bought himself a lot of equity by not caving to the demands of Nico Iamaleava. I think that is correct. I just don't think a lot of Tennessee fans are going to be thinking that when you lose to Georgia again, or you lose to Alabama, or God forbid you lose to Vanderbilt or Florida, right? That's not what they're going to be saying. It's, hey, everything's okay because Josh Heupel stuck to his guns and didn't let Nico, hold him hostage over contract negotiations. But with that said, they may be in a better position with Joey Aguilar anyway. Now, last year at the beginning of the year, the first couple games, I thought Nico Iamaleava was positioning himself to be one of the top quarterbacks in the country with the way that he was delivering the football, with how he had come off the bowl game a year before with Iowa. I thought, man, he is trending 100% in the right direction. I love the way he gets the football out of his hands. He's tall. He can run in the zone read game. And everyone kept telling me, yeah, well, he's doing it against Chattanooga. Call me when he plays someone. And I said, look, I don't care if he's doing it on air. The kid's got all the tools. Well, sure enough, when he played that tougher competition, I was proven wrong and they were proven right. And he wasn't really the difference maker in those big games. It was the Tennessee defense for the first time combined with Dylan Sampson at running back, where it's like, wow, this is how this team is anchored, until they went up to Columbus in the college football playoff and we saw how that ended. So I still think Nico is really good, but it's not like you weren't able to retain Tom Brady in contract negotiations, right? Now, Joey Aguilar, he played at Appalachian State. I've seen him do some great things on the football field. Can that translate to the SEC? I don't know. But if Josh Heupel can get a similar production from that defense and possibly a running game, even though Sampson is gone now, then maybe there's a situation where Joey Aguilar doesn't have to be Batman in order for them to make the college football playoff again.
Yeah, I look at Vandy's schedule too, and I'm thinking, this team on paper could be pretty decent. I mean, you got this quarterback everybody's talking about, but again, you still have to go to South Carolina. You have to go to Tuscaloosa. You have LSU. You have Missouri, who still we're figuring out what this team's going to be like, but that's on top of another visit to Texas as well as Tennessee. And hey, Georgia State is still on that schedule, so let's just hold off on saying this team's a playoff contender right now. But we talk all about the offense, and before we get you out of here, I want to get your answer on a defense that could maybe shift the tides of one of these teams that might be lacking on the other side of the ball.
Just defense across the SEC, is that what you're asking?
Yes.
I'll tell you what, man, I really like how Texas has been able to reload. You look at all the production that they lost to the NFL draft a year ago. Well, they did the same thing the year before that, and they sort of reloaded. And again, when we made our top 25 list in here in this studio at Crane & Company, we were looking around like, man, look what Texas is bringing to the table on the defensive side of the ball. And again, that's going to do nothing but be a best friend for Arch Manning playing quarterback on offense, right? Like if you can have a very productive defense who can get you stops in critical moments, especially on the road week one in, say, Columbus, Ohio, then that's going to help Arch Manning a lot. So I have high expectations for this defense because they have great players at every single layer of the defense. They're great in the front seven. They've got some playmakers in the secondary. And so I think they're as advertised on that side of the ball. Whether or not they can make this playoff run the way the Buckeyes were a season ago, that remains to be seen.
David Adam Cohn on X, on Twitter, whatever you want to call it. David, appreciate you hopping on with us.
Thanks.
It was a very fun week. It was a little bit boring on the storylines, but again, I mean, nothing's better than SEC Media Days.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me, and make sure every single person listening to this show knows that I am not the David Cohn who pitched for the Mets. I would never do that.
Absolutely not.
Screw the Mets!
Screw him.
Get him out of here!
Chop on!
Yes.
Good stuff, David. Appreciate you, man. Oh,
Love y'all.
That's what we get from David Cohn over at Crane & Company.
Love him.
You guys go and check out his work, and I gotta say, I like what he's saying about Texas. I think this is going to be a team that is solid both on offense, but especially on defense. I think that's going to be the main reason this team is a competitor this year. But we got to hop into a break, because when we come back, Final segment of the show, final segment of the week here on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham. You can watch the Blitz live now on X at 97.7 ESPN.
You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family-owned for over 14 years. They do both residential and commercial applications and get most jobs done in a day. Lifetime Epoxy Floors' motto is, we love what we do, and it shows. Visit LifetimeEpoxyFloors.com to schedule a free estimate today and check them out on Facebook.
You've been paying on that life insurance policy for years, but maybe you don't really need it anymore, or it's gotten a bit too expensive. Well, before you just let it expire, let Neighbors Insurance Solutions share with you some alternatives that you haven't considered. Don't throw away something that still may have great value for you. If you want to learn more about what Neighbors Insurance Solutions can do for you, call 256-763-7693. A death benefit could be a life benefit. Learn more at 256-763-7693. By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
But you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Have you seen the beautiful new Nexus apartment community right next to UAH? Nexus is designed exclusively for students. You'll love having private bedrooms and bathrooms, a fully furnished kitchen, and incredible amenities like 2 courtyards, a refreshing pool with grilling stations, and TV, gaming, and study lounges, all within an easy walk to campus and your classes. If you want the full collegiate experience, come take a personal tour at Nexus today. Log on nexusonhomes.com to see more, including limited time rate specials.
Hold your block until the whistle blows.
From SEC Media Days to the National Championship game.
This was a great team win.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Final segment, best segment. We appreciate David Cohn hopping on. One from Crane & Company, not the former Yankees. Screw him.
Sorry.
No, he was absolutely fantastic. We appreciate him coming on with us to kind of recap SEC Media Days. I see, like John you had a thought. I was about to let you roll with it.
Well, he'll definitely be joining us throughout the season. I know that's something that's going to happen. I'd love to see it happen, and I'd love to get some more of his. I'd love to pick his brain a little bit more on what's all going down. But this final segment presented by the wonderful people over at Bobcat of Huntsville. If you guys need to dig up a hole, if you guys need a entire project
need to dig up a hole
mindset, you guys head on over to Bobcat of Huntsville off of Highway 20 right next to the Harley Davidson over there. You guys are going to be able to do it. They'll do it for you, and you guys will be hooked up with a pretty snazzy piece of equipment. We are about to be out of here, but that doesn't mean you guys can't go over to our YouTube channel, WZZN TV, and watch all of the press conference conversation from over this past week. Go and dig that up, similar to what, Bobcat of Huntsville will do for you. Joe, you seem pretty preoccupied over there. What are you doing?
I'm just working on. I'm playing around with some stuff. I have ideas that I'm throwing around.
Thinking about gaming, playing some college football 26 this weekend.
I've only played it a little bit, just a little bit of just playing back and forth with it.
Yeah.
Mainly because I'm waiting for the updates and player number updates, all that sort of stuff before I get things going.
Gotcha.
I know I'm going to do a season with Utah. I'm obviously going to do a season with Auburn and Tennessee.
Okay.
After that, not 100% sure where I'm going.
MTSU. Or maybe we'll create a school or something. Who knows?
That'd be kind of fun.
Who knows? Either way, for me and Joe, we're out of here. We'll see you guys next week for High School Media Days.
Love you. Bye.
He was looking for a soul to steal.
The Drive in Atlanta is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Rise Real Estate, and Adams. We know great homes. Eagle Masonry and Insulation will save you money. Jacob Title, the place to